Hi, I'm Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Bujutsu, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to deal with disrespectful students, how to deal with students that are not disciplined, how to deal with students that are just simply not dedicated, no loyalty. That is going to be the topic of this particular video. So there are going to be parts that might get a little saucy, but nonetheless I will be speaking from experience and sharing some stories and how I deal with some of these situations. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We will be approaching this from two sides. Obviously the Bujutsu, we have thousands of students all over the world, either in physical dojos or enrolled in the online ninjutsu dojos. So I'm going to approach it from both sides of this. How to deal with these type of students that are physically coming to a dojo, and also how to deal with these same types of students when they're in the online dojo, and what you could do to kind of help them understand the way that you should be doing things, how you should be disciplined, how you should be dedicated, why you shouldn't be disrespectful, that sort of thing. And sometimes people are disrespectful and they don't even know it because they've never been taught, etiquette. So that's going to be today's video. Now, before I begin though, and I go on my little drive and talk to you guys, I always give a shout out to all of my new viewers. So if this is the first video that you guys have seen of me, my name is Christa Jacobson. I am the headmistress of the Bujutsu. We teach koryu ninjutsu and koryu bujutsu, so the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. This organization does have other areas of focus, such as reality-based self-defense, weapons training and tactics, concealed carry, survival skills, martial arts theory, thought, and philosophy, martial arts conditioning. If any of those topics at all interest you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the bell, that way you guys can keep up with everything that we're doing. I do post 2 to 3 videos every week, so if you guys are interested in those topics, please subscribe, click the bell, and you guys can keep up with what we're doing, okay? Now, how to deal with disrespectful students, how to deal with students that are just not disciplined, how to deal with students that are just simply not dedicated, Now, some of this might be just a lack of motivation as well. Not all of these situations are going to be these students are bad people or anything like that. Some of them are, they're meaning to be hurtful, they're meaning to be disrespectful, they're meaning to be underhanded and things like that. And we'll discuss that as well. But a lot of this is sometimes people get inspired, but they're not motivated to keep going. And inspiration is the spark, right? Motivation's the flame. So a lot of times people, they get inspired by the words, they get inspired by the videos that I post, some of the blog posts or the Facebook posts and things like that. They get inspired, but they're not really motivated to continue that any more than just, the day or so. And that also is an issue, because then that comes from, self-motivation, self-image, self-discipline, and things like that, in which that does get kind of tied into this particular video. However, one thing I can say is I've been doing ninjutsu for a very, very long time. And if you get past all the years of my training as a student, all of my years as an apprentice, all my years where I was an assistant instructor. At that point, I started my own organization in 2004 called the Bujutsu, right? School of the Warrior Way. We teach Bujutsu Ninjutsu, which consists of 5 areas of training, the Go, no Keiko. And when I did that in 2004, we immediately had a long distance training. Of course, in the beginning, it was VHS tapes, and then the VHS tapes turned into DVDs. The DVDs turned into online training. But I've been teaching long distance training for 17 years. So, almost 20 years now, almost 20 years, I've been teaching professionally ninjutsu on an international level. And I've got a ton of experience in teaching. And you'd be shocked at the kind of things that people do when they join the organization. And I think that they believe that because just because they join, I think a lot of people believe that they are entitled to certain shit, and they're just simply not. So this is going to be a little bit of me also kind of cut dry, laying down the law and making sure you guys understand the rules and what the rules are, so that you understand how to be successful and progress within the ninjutsu training that's offered here. So for any of you guys who are students, this is a great video for you guys who are students or supporters of the organization. Great video. Another video that's going to be good for you guys who you might be potential students and thinking about joining. This might be a good one for you, because then you're going to be like, okay, well, you know, I agree with that, don't agree with that. Well, then don't join. It's just that I'm not bending any rules for anybody. Like, this is what we do. And if you want to do what we do, jump in. If you don't want to do what we do, there are other organizations that you can join. So when people join, and we're going to primarily focus on the online dojo, because dealing with Hanbu students or dojo students is easy. You guys can go to the website, you guys can see, go to budo-ninjutsu.com, click where it says training information. On that page, you guys are going to see that there's the rules and guidelines. You guys can read all the rules and guidelines of any of the physical dojos. It's all there. There's also a list of the online Ninjutsu dojo rules and guidelines. You guys can read all of the rules and guidelines that any online student has to abide by, excuse me. They're all there. So make sure that you guys read the rules, because the rules are the rules, and I have no problem dismissing people from the organization who just simply don't want to follow the rules. So we'll start with that. Now, generally when people join the online dojo, we'll start with the online dojo. They join, and I think because so many people, I think online training gets so much of a bad rep that I think that they don't believe it to be something that is approached from a legitimate martial training perspective. I think they think it's almost going to be kind of easy. And I can't speak for everybody else in the ninja community or any other martial arts community and how they approach it. But what I can say is here, it's not going to be easy. The online dojo here are the same exact requirements, same exact pages, same exact everything that the students have in the physical dojo. Now, what that means is you guys are going to have to acquire particular training aids to be able to do that. You know, like, it's a requirement students wear a uniform. So when people join the online dojo and then they don't wear a uniform, you need to wear a uniform. You have to buy the correct uniform so that you can send in proper reviews. There's like that. When it's time to do bag work, you need to have a heavy bag so that you can do the proper striking skills and kicking skills and things like that. So I can see you do those techniques, right? Or any other type of training tools that I would ask you to get, whether it's tools or weapons or other bag striking aids and throwing aids and things like that. Grappling aids, you need to purchase those things. That's one thing that is a benefit of going to the dojo. Those things are provided for you. Some people can't afford to buy, you know, boken or katana or tanto or, you know, focus mitts, kicking shields, things like that. They can't afford it. So they pay a monthly fee to have those things provided for them at a dojo and get that live training. If you guys are in the online training, you still have to do the same requirements, at least here anyway. So as you go through the levels, you're going to have to be able to purchase those things to be successful. I just want to start with that, because a lot of times I think people believe that when you're training, it's online, that it's something very easy, right? Or it's kind of a watered down version. And maybe other organizations do that. Again, I'm not speaking for any organization. I'm just going to say we don't do that, right? So what gets me is when someone joins, the first thing that you have to do in the, well, let's flip that switch and go to the Hanbu dojo. So when someone joins the Hanbu dojo or one of our other dojos by one of our other licensed instructors, the first thing we do is read the rules and go through everything and make sure they know what we're doing up front. We go over class protocol. This is the way we run the class. This is what you've got to do. This is the expectations. Here are the rules. Here's a free class. If they do the free class and we feel that they could be a good fit and they could latch onto the training, we would accept them as a student. If obviously we don't feel they're going to be a good fit, well, then we just don't accept them and say, you know, this might not be a good fit for you. Not feeling good about it. I am very specific about what students I take on, especially in my physical Hanbu dojo. Very, very specific. But in the online dojo, you don't really get that type of interaction. People just join, right? So then you have to have a certain process to figure people out. The first process, and I'm going to talk about this one thing, and then I'm going to get to the disrespectful part, right? Because you'd be shocked at how many people post, like, you know, act like Buddha on their Facebook page, and then they turn around and treat you like crap, and their true colors is nothing but, you know, most evilest demon in the world, right? So it's amazing how they care more about their image than what they actually do on how they treat people. But bring it back. The first thing that has to happen when someone joins the online dojo is they got to do an introduction video. So you've come to the Hanbu dojo and you're going to join. The first thing we would do, you would come in, I would introduce myself to you. You would introduce yourself to me. I would tell you about the school. I would ask you questions. Why do you want to join? Why do you want to learn Ninjutsu? What's your interest with training with me? I would have these specific questions, and the student would have a little conversation. You know, I want to make sure that I understand why they're coming into the dojo to train. Online dojo is the same thing. You join the online dojo, but when you join the online dojo, you have an introduction video is the first requirement. Once you join, you have an introduction video, and then after that you have 7 reviews that you have to pass before you take your first test. That's level 1. And I'm going to explain my approach in just a second, but I'm just trying to give you a kind of a gray area. So on that introduction video, I ask questions, you know, what's your goals in life? Tell me about yourself. Have you done martial arts? If you have, what do you do? Do you run a school? Why you want to study ninjutsu? Blah, blah, blah. There's just like these series of questions I ask. This comes from trying to get to know the student, right? Once they get done with that, then they move on to the reviews. Now I don't know how most, well, I'm not going to speak about most martial art online programs. That's not what I'm going to do. What I will do, though, is I'm going to discuss my approach. So when you join, you get level 1 Densho pages sent to you. As you go through the levels, you create your own Densho and you start making your book bigger and bigger, right? Now, on level 1, you have 7 reviews, and each one of those reviews you have to pass before you can take the test. So like an example, once you get through the introduction video, the very first review that you got to do is Kamae, or postures and stances. So you're going to shoot that video, and once I see that you've passed that video and you know that section, then on the pages that you sent, the next section down will be the next review that you do. Once you get through the 7 reviews, you would then get the testing protocol sent to you, and then you could test for level 1. The requirements are the same here at the dojo. I take teaching students very serious. I don't look at the online training here as something that's hokey or lacking of instruction. You get me, we are going to tell you what you're doing wrong. We're going to review your videos. We're going to help you the best way we can. You're going to get instruction. You're going to be trained. You're going to pass the reviews. We're going to help you pass the reviews and prepare you for testing. What we don't do is say, okay, purchase level 1. You purchase level 1 and then you never hear from us. And it's all your responsibility to watch the videos and then send us a test whenever you feel like you're ready to test. That's not our approach. Now, maybe that is the approach of other organizations. That's not our approach. Our approach is a little bit more hands-on. We interact with the students. When someone joins the online dojo, I always send a personal video to them, thanking them for their interest in authentic ninjutsu. I explain the program. I always send a personal video to 100% of the people who join, and then we get that relationship moving. And it's worked well for us. That's why we have thousands of students all over the world training, because I believe that one thing that we give them is that personal touch, that constant interaction, where I feel like other organizations don't. It's more of, okay, buy the whole program, let us know when you want to test, you know, email us if you have a question. We just approach it a different way. You know, which is, again, every organization does their thing. This isn't me making fun of someone or trying to discredit anybody. I'm just trying to explain our approach. Now, this is where we get into the disrespectful part. Because when you're dealing with students that actually think they're going to join and they're going to get an easy rank, or they're going to get all this information sent to them, you know, like, oh, I want to learn ninjutsu and I want to stealth and this. Okay, well, Here you train in 7 traditions, and you've got to earn some of this material. You don't just step in here. You know, it's like that saying, you know, you don't just jump in the ring with Ali because you think you can box. You don't just send a PayPal and then all of a sudden think I'm going to be sending you copies of the scrolls and dealing with this, that, and the other. I mean, you've got to train and you earn that. And the more that you train, the more levels that you go through, the more information that you will begin to have access to. More information you'll have access to. And so on and so forth. Students break down primarily into 3 spots. And every student is unique, and I approach every student as an individual. But generally speaking, each individual will have 3 choices. And that's on them. I'm not one to tell them what to do. Every student does their own thing. But student, like over here, these are the students that are 100% dedicated to the Budokai. They do what we do. They don't study any other martial art. They're not training into any other sensei. They are solely dedicated to what we do and how we do it, and they're loyal and dedicated to this organization. There's group 1. Group 2. And group 2 is the vast majority of the people in the online dojo. They study another martial art, regardless whether it's karate, do, kendo, judo, iaido, whatever. They study another martial art, and they're using this as a compendium or something that they can do with the art that they're also doing. That is the group number 2. Group number 3 are the people that are only purchasing it because they think they're just going to leak out information from me, and they really have no real motivation to actually train. I think they're buying the program for information only. They have no ambition to train, right? So, and that group could or could not be training in another martial art. Now, when people, you would be shocked at how many people join and they don't even send the very first video, like the introduction video. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's a private video, and I even go through the steps on how to send a private video, and they don't even do that. They don't even submit an introduction to the dojo. So it's like they're in that group where it's like you purchase the level and then now there's nothing because you can't do that. And for me, I'm not going to waste my time with an individual. If I say, hello, how are you doing? And I put my hand out and you look at me and you walk away, and then like 3 months later you're like, hey, how you doing? Here's my introduction video. That's disrespectful as shit. It's like, if I'm going to send you a personal greeting, you should send one back. If someone says hi, you should say hi back. One of the problems I get with the online dojo are students that are just absolutely like, they believe that their time is more important than mine, I think. And I don't know why, but it's like I've had people who like, I send them countless videos and then it's like, hey man, it's been a month. Have you even watched the video I sent you? Are you even training? Oh yeah, I just didn't want to send anything. And to me, there is a rule, and if you go 30 days without a response, then you're cut off from any private pages that you're on. Now, admittingly, anyone who cross-trains, and if you want to cross-train, that's fine, but if you cross-train, you do not have access to any of the private pages. Kuden page, any of the private blogs and forums that we have, Heathen page, you don't have access to that information if you're cross-training, period. In the last 17 years of me doing the online training, I have seen so much hate, disrespect, mudslinging, people doing the most underhanded, disrespectful shit. And if you guys seriously think that you're gonna bow down to Sensei A and then call me up and be like, hey, I want you to also train what you're doing, that's fine. We'll train, but you are not privy to other information other than the curriculum page that you're on. That is it. If you're not gonna be loyal to me, I'm not going to have the same loyalty to you. I'm going to be damned if I give 100% of myself to a student who's given me 50% at best. And that's if they're doing 2 arts. If you're doing 2 different arts, I clearly am getting 50%. You have no idea how many people join the online dojo and they say, oh, Sensei, I love what you're doing. I want you to train me. And then I look at their Facebook page, all their pictures of them doing a different martial art. All their stuff that they post is all the other martial arts and the other senseis. They never promote me. They never post our stuff, share our stuff, or anything. They might like it, but their page is all that other stuff. So when it's like, it's very clear that it's the, I want to learn ninjutsu. She's really good at what she does, but I don't want anyone to know that I'm training with her. When you fit in that category, the chances of me bending over backwards to help you is massively slim. And over the years, I've just learned that, you know, the students that want to be dedicated and loyal, I will reach my hand out to do that. Now, does this mean that I cut somebody off right from the start? Absolutely not. Someone joins, there's going to be emails sent, messages sent, you know, maybe some Facebook Messenger videos sent back and forth. I'm interacting with them. But when I send someone a message as a martial art teacher, and you go 30 days, and I have to send you, and you don't even respond to me, okay, done. I'm not, clearly, if you don't take the time to even respond to my message, there is no reason for me to pursue that particular student. If you go 30 days or 90 days or whatever it is, and you can't even send in a review, you can't even keep in contact, well, then you're clearly not that interested. And when I have to deal with so many people all over the world, I can't constantly send out reminders to every single student all the time. The only thing I can do is interact with the students that interact with me. So, for you guys who are students, supporters, or potential students, the more you interact with me, send me messages, keep up with the reviews, like the Facebook or social media posts, follow us on the social media, make comments on YouTube. The more you interact with me, the more I will interact with you. But for those students who just simply don't, it's like they want to like purchase the program and then they go off on the back 40 and think they're going to do it all by themselves. Well, good luck. I had this one guy about 3 or 4 months ago, I don't know what it is, but he joined the online dojo and he said he's also doing another online program. Again, it's very common in the online dojo, doing another program. And he said that he's studying this, it's weapons training with somebody or somebody else. And I'm sure their weapons training is fine. This isn't me knocking whatever art that is or whatever sensei it was or whatever particular weapon they're studying. But what I found was shocking is like, that's one of the weapons that we go really in depth into. And his comment to me before he even trained was, yeah, I'm doing this because I think it's going to complement what you do really well. It's not going to complement what we do. In fact, it's going to complicate what we do, because in martial arts, I think people truly think that you could study all these different things and be better. People truly think more is better. More is not better. More is more. Better is better. When you're training in martial arts, you're trying to develop an instinctive muscle memory response to a specific action in an intense, violent situation, and you got to react to it now on call. If you study, say, 5 different arts and they all have their own inward block, there's going to be a time where when you have too many programs on the computer, it just runs slower. You're going to be more efficient is doing the most in the least amount of effort. So I do not believe there's one art better than the other. I just think that whatever you're doing, you need to be efficient in that. And the problem is there's so many people that are the jack of all trades, masters of none. And we got drowning in knowledge and starving for wisdom. 90% of the people who do martial arts and teach martial arts are bullshit. They don't have any skills. Most martial art teachers are bullshit. They don't train. You can tell by looking at them, they're not physically fit. They can't do half the shit they're asking you to do. It's just terrible. And here, I hang my hat on skills. I hang my hat on being able to do everything that I teach and want all the students to participate in the physical skills, in the physical conditioning, doing what we do. And when I already know up front, I already know, and I know by experience, I was one of those people that I studied all these different arts and I thought that if I did all these different things, I was going to be better. And then I learned real quick, that's not the case. That's not how it works. So I stopped. That's when I was like, okay, screw this. I saw real quick that all the other organizations were just simply the way that they approach training, I didn't agree with. I mean, obviously, I teach the Budo-ryukai here. I run the Budo-ryukai. We're a worldwide ninjutsu organization. Clearly, I disagree with the training tactics of other organizations. There are things that I disagree with. But just because I disagree with them doesn't mean I think that they're bad organizations or that their teachings or training is wrong. We just have a different approach. There are many organizations that teach ninjutsu. We are one of many. My approach and the way that we train is not at all like the other major organizations. I can promise you that. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to go from there and think it's going to be the same type of training. Requirements and what we do is different. But what gets me is you got all these people that are the jack of all trades, master of none, right? And it just, the people who have zero loyalty, I have what's the word I'm looking for? My patience with them is extremely thin. Like, that line is very short, because I'm going to be damned if I'm going to take time away from students who are very loyal and very dedicated, and take my time to try to talk to other people or other individuals who are not that loyal and dedicated to me and this organization. Like, that's just not what I'm about. That's not what I'm going to do. It's not right. But I don't care where you're from in the world. You could be in any country all over the world. If you're going to be dedicated, well, then we're good. If you're not going to be dedicated, it's going to be a long roll for you. You know, and I think sometimes people don't dedicate themselves to something because we live in a world where there's so much knowledge, and they don't want to dedicate themselves to something because there's so much ego. Because to dedicate yourself to something, you have to submit yourself to it to a certain degree. You have to be submissive to whatever it is that you do. If you want to be a devout Christian, you got to submit yourself to the training. So you have to take a position to be a good student or to be a good discipline. And a lot of times in martial arts, people just don't want to do that. What they want to do is, you know, that's why you get so many, you know, first dan masters. And the first dan masters, those are the jack of all trades, master of none. It's easier to get 3 first-degree black belts than it is to get a 3rd dan. Because when you get your first degree is shodan, initial level. Second degree is 2nd level. You have to level up. Your skills have to be better than a first. First degree is equivalent to a high school diploma. That's it. Shodan, 1st degree black belt is a shodan. Sho means initial. Dan it's an initial level. You know all the basics at an efficiency level to now start training at the black belt. That's where the students actually begin. Black belt is the beginning, right? It's kind of like high school. You leave high school, that is the beginning of your adult life. You're now an adult, you're on your own, you fly out the nest and you begin your thing, right? But people don't. For some reason, you get these people, it's like, oh, I have 5 first-degree black belts. Okay. You literally learn how to count to 10 in 5 languages. But you can't talk in 5 languages, you can't converse in 5 languages, and you don't understand what another language is saying. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. You know, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, you know, it's whatever, right? Okay, fine. You learn the basics, but you can't talk in that language. You don't understand the culture. You don't have any clue what they're saying or how they're doing it. You have a shodan. And there's so many people that are like that. And it's sad that the martial arts is just infatuated with that bullshit. So we get people, the 90%, and what that doesn't mean, I will say this, just because someone does another martial art and they're doing the online program, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad students. I have lots of students who do another martial art in the online program, and they're studying this, and they're progressing through the levels, and they're doing fine. And they are respectful. They're not disrespectful. But they'd say up front, you know, I'm dedicated to Aikido or whatever, and I want to do this on the side for fun. Hey, no problem with that. I'm good with that. You're honest up front. Let's do it. Here's your first review. Knock this out. No problem. Here's your second review. Knock it out. I have no problem with that. But when you don't respond to messages, when I've got to constantly say, why aren't you responding to my messages? Why aren't you sending in reviews? Why do I keep contacting you and you don't reply to me back? Why do you post this hateful shit on your page and you're basically talking trash about this organization when you joined? Why are you saying this when you told me this? You know, and for me, when we talk about how to deal with disrespectful students, how to deal with students that might be, you know, they're not loyal, they're not dedicated, they're not motivated, you know, they're not disciplined. It's simple. The people that are, for me, the way I deal with it, when we talk about how to deal with students that are disrespectful, you just dismiss them. It is what it is. I'm not here to judge anybody.
But if you want to be disrespectful, you don't want to abide by the rules, you will be dismissed. If you don't want to send in the reviews, you're not going to progress. If you want to do other martial arts, that's fine. I'll love to work with anybody with a good heart. You know, I studied multiple martial arts before I joined the Bujutsu. And, you know, although I found that studying different martial arts and trying to combine shit didn't work, it was better. I found it to be better to just be dedicated, and that's why we have the 7 traditions, and this is what we do, and this is how we do it, and we have a set curriculum and a set rules, and, you know, we go through things on a curriculum base. That works better, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that somebody else can't benefit from something else. So as long as they're doing another martial art, as long as they're being respectful and disciplined and they're sending the reviews, got no problem with it. But on the backside of that, if you're not going to give me 100%, I'm not going to give 100% back. So you're not privy to other information. You're not going to get on the Kuden page or the Heaton page or the student forum or the online blogs where we talk about different things. And, you know, we're just not going to be doing that. That's just not something that I'm not going to do that. I would rather have a small group of people and deal with a small group of people on a specific page that are loyal and dedicated than to have everybody who joins the organization gets on a certain page and then that's privy to information that I find very sacred and something that I dedicated my life to. And I have dedicated my life to the teachings to authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, and it's something that it's very intimate in my heart and who I am as a person. And if you're not going to prove yourself, and you're not going to be dedicated, and you're not going to be loyal to this organization, you're probably not going to get what you're looking for. Not from here anyway. Now maybe other organizations just hand out information willy-nilly. I don't know. This is not the way that we do it. So this video was more towards the student body, the supporters. I have students and supporters. What do I mean by that? Students are learning the curriculum. Supporters are people who are not students, but they buy my books, they buy the videos, they send donations, they love what I'm doing, they do other martial arts, but they support what I'm doing. They support my approach to martial arts, and I love them very much. Thank you very much for all my students and supporters. But I've got to be at this point in my career, after all these years of training, I've learned that there are just going to be disrespectful people. And when people are disrespectful, you let them go. There are going to be people that's not going to be loyal. That's fine. Just because someone doesn't want to be 100% loyal to the Bujutsu, and they want to do, again, say Aikido and Bujutsu Ninjutsu, I'm okay with that. Just don't expect to be on the private pages. If you want to do Aikido in this, you're going to learn. You're going to go through the curriculum. You do your reviews. We're going to go through it. I'm going to train you in the curriculum as I would somebody else. But the other people that are more loyal, they get a little more. It's just that simple. You know, it's kind of like anything else in life, you know. But I felt like this was something that I wanted to talk about because it is something that's, you know, dealing with people on a constant, dealing with students all over the world every single day for the last 17 plus years that I've been doing. I've been running the Bujutsu and teaching Bujutsu Ninjutsu. There are times where we'll go, you know, we'll have like a 2 or 3 day span where there's students just being asses, and it's just going to be, all right, well, rules say you haven't responded within 30 days, you're cut off the page. You know, you don't want to send reviews, we're done. You don't like any of my posts, you don't share my posts, you're sharing everybody else's shit, you know, all these other organizations, but not mine, and you're asking me for help? That doesn't seem right. You know, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the students choose their path here. I don't choose it, students do. And if you want to do different, you choose your path, but the path you choose, I'm going to fit the teachings accordingly to the actions and the path that you feel best suits you. So, I know this was a long one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sure if you guys were just looking for one of those videos where I just talk about historical ninjutsu or bujutsu or martial arts, probably not the funnest video. Might be a little bit of a drag video for some of you guys, but nonetheless, I think for the student body, the supporters, and people who are potentially thinking about being students, this was a good video. So let me wrap it up for you guys. If you guys are interested in authentic ninjutsu, classical samurai bujutsu, and you truly want to learn the ways of the ninja martial arts, the samurai military training, and you want to dedicate yourself and learn these historical ancient arts, please check out my website at www.budoninjutsu.com. There you can see a list of our schools, the 7 traditions, the areas, the 5 areas of training, the philosophies that we teach. If you don't live next to one of our schools, you can always join the Budo Yukai online dojo and you can start training with us that way. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.